We're back, guys.
So guys, let me something good that's happened this week.
What happened this week?
Tell me something good that's happened.
Good, not good. My hometown washed away this past weekend.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was pretty.
This is a rough
looks pretty
week.
bad. Yeah,
With weather after the hurricane, it's been a doozy.
Yeah.
not very good. Can't get back home. All the roads are closed and everything because the roads are washed away.
Wow.
Yeah. I guess if you were to look at a good thing there, as tragic as this is, like just it's really cool to see how people come together and really sacrifice to help in that kind of situation when there's no gain in trying to round up helicopters to go fly people in and help them. Like, you're not going to get anything from that, but you realize the need for that, and it's awesome when people come together and see that need, fill it, and act very swiftly. And so that's been awesome.
And as terrible as the events were, the unity, just that we're all coming together to help, our fellow Americans, fellow human beings. Like, it's just, especially, with the season that we're in right now, with it being political season, and everyone hates everyone because you don't think this person's vile or you like this person.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's like, you know what, you're a human being. This crappy thing happened to you, and we're gonna find somebody to help you. We're going to help you, and that's the. I always try to find the silver linings in things. So that's that. All right. So
yeah. So we're gonna chat about some e-commerce today, right?
Yeah.
That's yeah. So I'm gonna. So this is
Ecom.
cool. You guys both have some experience here on this front, and that is an area I have not touched at all. So it'll be kind of cool. Eric, we'll start with you. You've got very successful experience in the e-commerce front. So give us a run through of that, and just some high level, like what happened, how quickly did it develop? Give us some just timeline stuff that we can get a feel for what you were doing, what the product was, and how they came together for you.
Okay. Well, it was born. The whole e-commerce thing for me was born out of. I had shut down I was in the process of shutting down my web agency because I didn't see a direction there in the future, and I had just gotten my biggest client ever, which basically I didn't have to do any work, and so I was like, okay, I have 1 year to learn a new skill, to learn something that I can take and because I don't see this web agency working out. It's not going. I can, because you have website builders and all that. So I was like, I have 1 year, and so I was turning around. I was looking everywhere at the same time as that was happening. My dance studio that my wife and I was running, we were closing that down because we kind of got kicked out of the town. A very small town. But so anyway, but yeah. So what I did was it's like, I have 1 year. I have to get something started. I don't know how long it's going to take, and I need to learn a whole new thing that I'd never learned before. I already knew how to build websites, because I had the website agency, so I already knew a lot about web design and all of that as far as experience goes. But I had never sold anything online, and so I was like, okay, well, I found a YouTuber, like an 18-year-old, who was doing these YouTube videos and drop shipping these random products, and always claimed that he was making these crazy amounts per week. And I'm like, and he was selling this course, which course selling I don't know if it still is, but back then, really great deal. Everyone was doing a course. But I was like, okay, if this guy, it was $900. If this guy is real, then I should be able to copy exactly what he does, and it should turn out the same way, because that's logic, And so that's what I did. Little did I know that I was actually scamming people at the beginning until I realized, wait, this isn't right, and I changed it up. maybe not scamming
Yeah.
might be the wrong word, but it was like it was scamming in my mind, like value wise. Um, so and yeah, altogether it took me about 6 months of building that store in terms of actually making it. Now it's a reoccurring brand, and I moved away from drop shipping, and we branded the whole thing, and was making steps to change some things, and we were going to move out of China to Vietnam to manufacture there with our own manufacturing facility and everything. And then Google did this. They updated their uh, marketplace, shut down millions of people's stores, restricted their accounts, millions of people's accounts that were legitimate accounts. And it took them forever to get them back up and running. And by the time they got them back up and running, we were already we were done and didn't have any more momentum left. So that's the very short version.
It's good stuff. We'll
Lots
get
of stuff to
some.
unpack there.
Yeah. We'll get into some nitty gritty here in a minute. Let's hop to you real quick, Yemi. So your experience has been on the copywriting for food and beverage, specifically in e-commerce. Give me kind of a similar, like, give me a run on that. What was the deal there? What were you doing, and how did that come about?
Well, it was a food and beverage company that manufactured they did functional foods, and basically the whole idea behind that were foods that added to your life, not just food you just consume for just junk food or anything like that. It was things that helped you perform better. Well, were shown to possibly have helped you perform better, because we're not trying to get in trouble with the FDA. Working there, they it was a W-2 position. So I came on as the role was direct response copywriter, which they created specifically, and I was the first person they hired for the role. And I was working directly with the director of e-commerce for the brand, as well as the retention manager for the brand. And the whole goal was to create campaigns to increase sales. They had a massive email list they weren't leveraging at all. Massive text list they weren't really leveraging at all. It was just kind of like they had some name recognition. They were kind of the first in their space. So that's just kind of how it worked for them. They didn't know what they didn't know. So it was a good time. Got a lot of free product, which was awesome. It's always the benefit of that. Yeah.
So with all of that data of text, all these numbers and emails just sitting there, was it? I mean, I don't know, but it sounds to me like that's a gold mine waiting to happen. If they're not utilizing it and it's just available, was it easy to convert? Like, were you building campaigns to kind of just come in and be like, hey, all this has been sitting there, we haven't utilized it, so that's the first thing we're going to do is just try to convert as much of this open stuff as we have. What did that look like for you? Was that your first line of approach? Were you doing other things, or how'd you tackle that?
So being my focus being email copywriting, one of the things I did was I analyzed their, went through their database and everything, figured out, I immediately started isolating people who hadn't opened an email for over a year. Don't want to email them. The company was paying for them. And so basically it was a list of 500,000. By the time I was done, it was like 350,000. Just we sunsetted those, set them aside and everything. Well, the month after I did that, I only wrote one email campaign, just a quick 4-day flash sale, just to kind of test the market. And we more than doubled the email revenue from the previous month.
Okay.
Just in that alone, just cleaning that up. And then, like you said, it was just this gold mine they were sitting on, didn't know how to properly leverage.
Yep.
And so that's, that was the first month there.
That's good. That's a good way to start. Love a good metric growth right out of the gate.
Yeah.
So Eric, I'm guessing this is probably a pretty popular question you get when it comes to e-commerce. How did you choose, and how did you go about selling it?
Well, the first product that I did, it was actually recommended to me by the mentor that I bought the course from, going back to the beginning with the headphones. They weren't the headphones that I ended with, but it was headphones. It was these super cheap, very awful, terrible quality
It's that
headphones.
category.
But and I did successfully sell those, but then I changed them later on to way better than at the time, better than Apple's AirPods. So I would say in that respect, like you want to make sure that the quality of whatever the product is, going back to the last episode that we were talking about teams, you want to make sure the quality of your product is good.
Yeah.
You don't want to, like, you're not helping people by selling junk. You're taking advantage of them if you're doing that.
Yeah.
And you're not going to succeed in your life if you're just going around selling junk all the time. Back when I got started, there were people just throwing up like just black and white store pages that any like person would be, any millennial would look at and be like, no, that looks like a spam. But people we're still getting taken advantage of because 70% of traffic is on your mobile phone. So as long as it somewhat looks like it fits on your phone, then you're never visiting these stores on your computer. And if you did, then you probably would have figured it out a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, back then it was basically, you pop up a store, you run it for a couple months on a banger ad, and then you don't iterate, you don't do anything, you shut the store down, you do the same thing with whatever's trending at the time. And at the time when I started mine, waterproof headphones was starting to trend. And I rode that whole wave and was able to sustain and keep riding it until other factors played, which were not necessarily in my control in terms of like getting somebody running off with $25,000 and stuff like that.
External
So
factors.
Yeah.
I've heard you mention brand, starting a real brand a couple times versus just having a store. I know the difference. Aram knows the difference, but what would you say is the difference between what makes someone starting a brand versus, hey, I'm just starting this to get a few bucks for whatever, extra money kind of thing?
Yeah. Well, a brand has culture, has heart, has meaning, it has a mission behind it. It's focused on one singular thing. Whereas a store is like a Walmart. It's just, you're not really trying to do anything. You're just trying to make a buck, and you're just putting a bunch of products. And honestly, you're going to fail because a brand is so much easier and people relate to it emotionally, and people buy with their emotions, and people relate to brands a lot easier than going and just looking at a store where they have a bunch of products that don't even relate to each other and have nothing to do with each other, and yet you're trying to sell it. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make sense to go out and try to start a Walmart. It makes sense to go out and start a water bottle company that is focused on, like, I don't know, green trees or something like that. That makes more sense than going back to the whole quantity thing. We're not there. We're not in those days anymore. We're in singular brands, hyper focused, very niche focused, and really trying to dig out our tiny little corner of culture and stuff around that. I think that's really cool, honestly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I always love hindsight questions just because, we all have the benefit of hindsight after we've done something. What's something that each one of you would, like, if you were to relive your experience in e-commerce in both of your respective roles, what would you do differently? Like, you can say what for certain, like, this would have gone better if I hadn't done this and had done this.
I could do lots of hindsight. The way dropshipping worked, and it still kind of works that way now, but you basically got in contact with what's called a supplier. And all a supplier is in China, or they're in other places too, but all that person is, it's boots on the ground that has the connections to the local manufacturing factories. And they have like a deal that they're on the ground there and they can purchase a bulk shipment from them, and then they ship it out to your customers.
Mhm.
Whereas If I was to go directly to the manufacturer, they would ship me a bulk crate of all the things, and then I would have to figure out how to ship it out. So that's the only big difference in the supplier, and you're always paying a little bit more per unit usually to the supplier for that benefit. And the way that this worked is there was no contracts, there was no like accountability, there was no like anything. It was just a trust system. So if I pay you money, you want me to come back and use you again. And so I was this supplier was used to dealing with probably 5K a week, something like that worth of shipment. And obviously never seen big money before. And so I was ramping up my store. I had ramped it up to 25,000 of product a week. Right. I had just reached that. I already sent him 15 and I sent him 10 the week before, the week after that, before that. Now I sent him 25 via wire. It's a trust system. What did he do with it? He ran with it, and he basically unloaded everything that he had and sent it back to my customers. So my customers got smartwatches,
Wow.
random headphones that weren't even the real ones,
Wow.
like a bunch of this random electronic stuff. And so that, yeah, in hindsight, what I would have done is I would have worked directly with the manufacturer way sooner, and started that, because that's what I ended up doing after I recovered from that. So, but
What about you, Yemi?
What I would do differently is when I was brought on board with the company, they told me basically, we just want you to write, write, analyze campaigns, work with, your manager. She was the retention manager. She was responsible for, once we got a customer in the door, for keeping them longer term, work with her to put together these campaigns to ensure that we have repeat buyers. The goal was to get them on a monthly subscription for these particular products. Well, within 3 weeks of joining the team, my manager's boss left. He left.
oh wow.
And then a week and a half later, even though she could do the job and had previously done the job, they didn't promote her, so she left.
Oh wow.
So my two biggest advocates, and I didn't realize how much junk they shielded me from until they were gone. All of a sudden it was like, hey, Yemi, you've got to attend this meeting. Hey, Yemi, attend this meeting. Like, hey, brand doesn't like this copy and blah, 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 and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, look, the results say this. Like, I know you hate it, but we've had an almost 500% increase in email revenue in the last 2 months. Like, what are we here for? Are we here for like, does it got to be pretty, or are we making money? What are we doing? And I realized that I didn't play the corporate game well enough at the time. Very, I don't know, looking back, I might have been a little bit abrasive, just because it was the frustration of not doing what I was brought there to do. And then having people who, they don't have any ownership in it. Like, my metrics for work are tied to these results. And I get that you think that, selling in every email is bad, but yes, we sell in every email. It's elegantly done, but we're not here to have pretty emails. We're here to move product. Moving product keeps salaries going, that kind of thing. And I didn't play the game very well, and I realized that W2 is not always for me. So
That was fun. Wrapping up here, I got a couple of quick lightning round questions for you guys, some random ones, just to get you thinking. So you guys can answer this whatever order you want. What is your favorite store to shop at?
Whole Foods.
Okay, nice and easy.
Barnes and Noble.
Whoa,
that's relaxing.
Okay,
yeah, that's relaxing.
Okay.
They have it pretty good over there. That's true.
Like, books, just
like to be in there. Yeah. Do they still have Barnes and Nobles, right? Like those.
Yeah, there's one in Hamburg, and then they open one.
Oh, that one's still in Hamburg. Oh gosh,
yeah. And they open one in the mall.
Really? In the Fayette Mall?
Yes.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Did not know that. Okay, so they're coming back.
They are
Good.
coming back. Got to bring it back. We cannot. It's
Not only are they
always
not
this way.
going away, they're opening new stores, doggone it.
Yes.
That's good stuff. Well, guys, this has been fun. Been
Yeah.
an enjoyable session. And until next time.
Till next time.
Till next time.
Woohoo.